Hi everybody, my name is Alan and this is the Council. So as you can see, I'm at home. Unfortunately, I was meant to have my operation last Wednesday the 14th in January, but I got quite a bad chest infection, and because of that they had to cancel my operation. To be fair, I was quite ill. I got to the stage I couldn't take 10 steps without being completely out of breath. So I understand why they couldn't do it. Obviously I need to try and be fit and healthy as best as I can be for them when they do it. But of course this has led to me being very frustrated. As you know, the way I feel about it is the longer that it's in there, the more chance it has of doing more damage. Obviously I'm trying not to think that way. And generally I'm trying to keep my spirits up and be positive. So yeah, there's a lot of frustration attached to it now because, you know, in my head I'd be thinking by now I'd have had the operation and I'd be coming through the other side. Unfortunately at the moment that's not the case. So today is Monday, and I rang the hospital today, and my new date for the operation is the 2nd of February, so it's 2 weeks today. Doesn't really seem that long, and in reality it probably isn't. But again, it's another 2 weeks of the cancer being attached to my lung, another 2 weeks of unknown, hence the name of the video, not knowing what's going to happen again, leading to frustration, leading to them voices in your head, making things up again, trying to fight them dark moments when them thoughts come into your head and you try and put them out of your mind the best way you can. And for most of the time I can and I try. But like I've said in my previous videos, it's impossible to be positive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And of course this hasn't really helped because, like I said, it's just more time. And at the moment, time's not really my ally. Time would be great if I can have her out and it's done, but it's not. So it's trying to keep myself positive and keep going forward, all the while knowing, while it's still in there, it's what damages are causing and how do we get through that. And like I said, I've been doing these videos, and you know, people have said, especially the last one or two, been quite positive, and even my sort of self I've felt a lot better and going forward and having the positive thoughts and you know, really looking forward to the operation and getting her out and striding forward. And obviously I don't want to stop that, and I don't want to not be positive, and I don't want to not be thinking like, get through this, get, you know, past it, and then we can look at the positives. It's a setback, and it's a setback that's made me feel a bit down, I'm not going to lie. You know, it's one of the reasons I wanted to do this was to talk about how I feel and how it makes me feel. And everyone around me, like I said before, have been fantastic. But you're not around people 24 hours a day, and you know, sometimes I wake up at night on my own, and that's really, I'm not going to lie, you know, it's brought some really emotional times. And how you get past that is, I think you have to accept what's happening to you. You have to understand that you have a battle on your hands. and you have to move forward. And you know what? I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said how frustrated I was. But then he also reminded me, by my operation being cancelled, maybe someone else has had the opportunity to have theirs. So even though I haven't had mine, hopefully someone else now has taken that place and has had theirs and has gone through it. So yeah, there is a positive side to it. There's maybe a happy ending for someone else. And I want mine to be a happy ending, of course I do. Just the frustration's got me down, especially in the last few days. And it's like I said, as much as you want to be positive, and I want to be positive and I want to go forward, all of them things that I've spoken about before. But there's also, and like I said, there's times that dark voice comes into your head, and you know, you have to listen. You can't just ignore it. You try. Like I said, it's difficult, frustration, and I know I have to be positive, and I know I have to keep going forward, and I sound like a broken record sometimes. But what's the alternative? You know, do I sit down and just cry every day? I can't do that. So yeah, you got to have a bit of a mental attitude and a mental block to the bad stuff, and try and keep the good stuff and keep going forward with it. So now everything is set. It's looking forward to the 2nd of February. I'm going to be a bit more careful about going out and mixing with people. I need to know now that I have to be as fit as I can be, so this operation can and will take place. So it was just a sort of an update of what's happening with me and how I feel. I don't want to sound like it's all doom and gloom, but I want you to understand that as well as feeling positive and good, and there's also times where I don't feel that. And I think it's just as important to put that out there as it is about being positive. And I am positive and I want to be positive. But there's times it's difficult to be positive, and anyone else going through this, you'll know what I'm talking about when you say, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is impossible to be positive. So when you get them moments, I think you have to understand everybody's going to get that and go through it. And you just have to try and get through it the best you can, come out to your end, and keep that positivity. And that's the important thing. The important thing is to try, move forward. So, yeah, it was just an update on what's happening. Like I said, unfortunately, it's unfortunate about the operation, of course it is. But now I have to look forward to the 2nd of February for when the new date is. And fingers crossed, that comes, we get to the cancer out, and things start looking up from there. So again, I just want to thank everyone for watching. I have been blown away, like I said, the amount of support I've been given, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, thanks again. Bye.